So now I can talk about the Senran Kagura series and the top 5 characters I would have wanted from this franchise and BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle. Now, even though I made rules before about talking about, oh man, I would choose these characters whose voice were already in the callouts and the BBTAG game files, I decided to omit that for this kind of video because honestly, there's no point of trying to do that anymore. The only reason I did it for Ruby was because it was a lot smaller choice, and that's the only reason I did it for Under Night as well, because there's no other playable characters outside of Under Night than the ones I've talked about. So for Senran Kagura's case, I'm just gonna let it go and just talk about whatever character in the series, at least playable in games like, Burst or Deep Crimson or Estival. I guess Estival is the best point to use because it brings in a lot of other characters. And they're also using Estival as a base for putting characters in this game. I decided, okay, why not? I might as well just pick 5 characters from this franchise and what I want in Cross Tag Battle. Now, there are I think about 2 characters on here that aren't in the callouts, but again, I'm omitting that. Omitting that whole rule I placed down in the past couple of videos I've done. So, yeah, there's nothing else for me to say on that. There's characters I do want in Senran Kagura. There are some obvious choices here because I'm going to talk about it in just a minute. But yeah, other than that, these are the top 5 characters I would have wanted from the Senran Kagura series in BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle. And before I start this video proper, I do understand that it sucks that to have only one Senran Kagura character and the game hasn't been updated in years. I'm not going to go to the whole conversation of thinking, is Cross Tag really stopped being developed or is it still being developed but silently? I'm using the basis on the idea that this game is no longer getting any more developer support and updates from ARCSYS Works. That's the basis I'm using for this whole deal. I've made all these videos in the style of if I believe that ARCSYS is not going to mess with the game anymore because it's been a little bit while now, and if ARCSYS ever does come out with anything for some reason to prove me wrong, then these whole sets of videos still will be relevant in some way. It's just they were already happening. But I'm using the idea of that this game, BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle, is no longer getting any more updates from ARCSYS Works. That's what I'm using the basis on. Because I'm not going to get in that whole conversation right now, because some people still think the game's still going to get supported by the developers. Some people think it's not. It's a big deal. It's still a thing even to this day. And honestly, I'm not going to talk about it. I'm just going to pretend that this game isn't going to get developed anymore by ARCSYS Works. So yeah, that's what I'm using. So anyway, for now, let's actually move on to the damn video. So I want to get the most obvious one out of the way. The fact that Asuka isn't the first character to get in this game is both the funniest thing and like the worst thing ever. Now, I know why Yumi is the first character in the game. She's technically the main character now. And that sucks to say, but yeah, Yumi is technically the main character in the Senran Kagura series now. She was the main, well, at least her and her team were the main characters of Shinobi. They were the main characters of Estival. So they're technically the main characters of Peach Beach if you want to go that far. So yeah, it sucks that Asuka isn't here. Now I know some people aren't high on Asuka as a character, but I find her just far more interesting as a character, even if they don't do much with her. It honestly really sucks because I'm not really a big fan of Yumi. I don't hate her, but like at the same time, like why her? Like Japan, like people love Yumi over there, and I can kind of get it. But at the same time, like, I don't care, and I kind of just wanted Asuka in here, because I just like playing as Asuka more, and I just like having her around more. She feels more unique to me, at least, than Yumi. Yumi's just kind of boring to me, in my personal opinion. She's not bad, but if you had to pick any protagonist to put into this game, it just had to be Asuka. Like, again, I already knew Yumi's going to come first, and I suspected that if Cross Tag continued to get developer support, I would feel like Asuka would have been the next character. At least it would make sense, because she was one of the first characters they mentioned before 2.0 even came out. Like, that was when the 40 characters were released all at once, and they also had Asuka and Yumi together. So my guess is that if Yumi came out, yeah, Asuka would be the next character. And honestly, I just would have wanted her more. I feel like just having her around would have been great. And I just need more Senran Kagura characters. I get, sprite working is a pain in the ass. We don't have any more characters. Cross Tag kind of just went cold by developers after 2.0. I mean, yeah, they're still doing tournaments and shit, and PlayStation tournaments still talk about stuff, but like as for developer support, hasn't been nothing really. And it kind of sucks because I really wanted Asuka in here because I like playing as her. I actually do like Asuka. I like her design, and then just it bums me out that she isn't even here in the first place. Like the only way you even see Asuka remotely even close to BlazBlue cross tag battles in the gallery mode where her icon is there, and yeah. But honestly, she should have just been in the game. You know, I feel like using Estafel as the basis was the issue, and having Yumi as the first character was the issue. Because in the back of my head, I was thinking, yeah, if they were going to pick one character to put in from Senran Kagura as the first, of course it would have been Yumi. But at the same time, I'm like, yeah, Yumi's not a bad character. I just don't like her. And she's just not... If I were to choose between her and Asuka, I definitely would have chosen Asuka first. But this is Japan. This is the Cross Tag Battle. BlazBlue is a Japanese original game made by people in Japan. If they were going to pick the most popular, eye-catching character, it was going to be goddamn Yumi. So yeah, it bums me out that Asuka isn't the first character, or at least, you know, she's not really treated as the main protagonist anymore in Japan, which sucks so hard. And I honestly... It bums me out, but whatever. There's nothing I can do about that. But the point is, yeah, Asuka would have been great in this game had Cross Tag continued to get more developer updates. While I'm not too big on Miyabi as a character, she has my favorite design in Senran Kagura, bar none. Like, she was so cool. Her design was just so cool. I even based one of my own characters off of it, somewhat. But yeah, Miyabi, damn, dude, she's so cool. That's all I can say. I don't even give a shit about who she can interact with. I don't give a shit about that. She looks so damn cool. I just want her in the game. Like, literally, that's it. She just looks that damn cool. I just want her here. I don't even give a shit if Asuka didn't make it in. If Miyabi got in next, I wouldn't have cared. but in all seriousness though, yeah, like she like her design is just so damn cool. I just don't care. You know, I just legitimately do not care. Plus, I like playing as her in Estable Versus because she's like the funnest character for me to play as. I can just wreck shit in that game, you know, using her, and it's so fun. Plus, she has that one-winged angel form, which I can't remember the name of. I call it one-winged angel, but even though she has two wings, and I call it super mode. Let's call it a super mode to call it, you know, easy. But yeah, it sucks, you know. I mean, she's like to me personally, she's one of the coolest characters in the goddamn games, and like. Just having her here would have been cool. I definitely would have wanted to see her playstyle because I feel like her playstyle would translate really well over the cross tag battle. But again, in this case, I have never I thought about, oh, what characters can interact with. I don't even give a shit what Miyabi can interact with who. I do not care. I don't care if they went the extra mile and put let's see, Yumi, Asuka, Homura, and Miyabi. I don't give a crap if they made like a four-way team intro for them. I don't even give a shit. I would have just loved to see Miyabi here just for the hell of it because she looks that damn cool. That's it. She's a goddamn freaking demon armed thing, whatever the hell it is. I can't remember what it was. I can't remember shit about Miyabi while making this video. Yeah, the point is, yeah, she's cool. Like, yeah, so for once, I actually just want a character in because they're just goddamn cool. Like, normally I'm the one who, says, man, you know, I want this character not only because they have this one function. I want to put this character in because, you know, there are more to them than just having a cool look or something. But no, in this case, I'm going to throw that rule out the window. Miyabi just needs to be in because she has my favorite design in the entire franchise. That's it. So Daidoji herself wasn't one of the characters who was in the callouts, which weirds me out because Daidoji's a really popular character. At least I think so. But honestly, I don't know why she wasn't called in. You know, I'm amazed that she wasn't even considered to be in the game. But damn, dude, Daidoji is one of the coolest looking characters, one of the coolest characters in the series. Now, it sucks that, you know, over the course of Senran Kagura, she wasn't as cool as she used to be, but, I mean, just look at her, man. Just look at her, hear her, see her. She's, again, like, Senran Kagura has a couple of cool characters I definitely would want to see in this game, and Daidoji is one of them. Like, it's not even a contest of why she's one of the coolest characters. I mean, people love Daidoji. Playing as a Versa isn't going to help me understand Daidoji any better, but honestly, it's just she's first of all, she's just fun to play as. Seeing her being like this beefy woman who could just beat the shit out of people, apparently fight bears and steal their meat or something. Like, it's Daidoji should have been in the game. Like, I don't even care, man. Like, she's so sick. She's so freaking awesome. Like, there's so many awesome characters in Senran, honestly. Like, it's just, Daidoji's one of them, and she's, dude, she's so cool. Like, it's like that whole shit where from, like, Dragon Ball Z Abridged, where the Broly movie, right? And they're talking about how dumb Broly is, like, how dumb his backstory is, but because he's so cool, like, Vegeta is still fanboying over him, knowing how stupid he is. Like, he's just so damn cool. That is really what Daidoji is for me. Daidoji isn't smart, but, like, if she could do whatever, and I honestly wouldn't give a shit. She's just that damn cool. She could probably throw, like, a pig off a bridge or something. Like, I don't know, something random. She could throw a pig off the bridge, and I just say she's so cool because she's just standing there looking awesome, you know? I don't know. This whole part was aimless. I honestly don't know what I was gonna legit say, but, like, Daidoji's cool. I would have wanted her in Cross Tag. Maybe interaction with Akihiko. Because Akihiko's popping up a lot now that I think about it. Akihiko's been popping up a lot when I start talking about these characters. I don't even think about Akihiko a lot, but when I bring up certain characters that have been in like my previous videos, I'm like, you know, they have a great interaction with Akihiko, and it happens so often, it's crazy. But anyway, yeah, Daidoji, definitely would have wanted her. And another character that wasn't in the call out is Rin / Suzune. And I mean, it feels kind of obvious why I want her here. One, she looks sick as shit. Two, teacher. that's not the best example I got, but like, hot teacher. You can't tell me that hot teacher can't make it into this game. You can't tell me. She looks like, look, again, she looks so goddamn cool. And plus, I liked her moments in Peach Beach, where she had to play as, I think, Mrs. R, right? And she was so goddamn funny. Like, seeing her and Kiria bounce off each other in a comedic fashion was so freaking hilarious. I loved it. And I feel like she could have some of those goofier moments, and she got those goofier moments and cross tag battle. I don't know how they're gonna translate that over, but I can just see that happening. Like, it's just funny to me. Plus, I can see her having a badass interaction with Asuka. Like, if Asuka made it in, she could have a good interaction with Asuka, because like, Ren's backstory is kind of like Asuka. She was like, when she was younger, she was kind of like, you know, whole, you know, big and idealistic like Asuka was. But then, you know, she's screwed up in her training, and so she went to the path of one of those evil shinobi, like, you know, she was a heavy joke. So I can see her having like a cool back-to-back interaction, her and Asuka. That would be sick. Like, Asuka could feel like this is how I could have become someday, or something like that. And I legit, that would have been, that's so cool. Like, at the back, in my head, I'm just thinking of it now. And it's so badass, and I just, now oh god, it sucks. It sucks. So many characters deserved to be in cross tag from Senran. I understand that why they aren't, but like, I'm amazed that Rin wasn't even suggested. That's what gets me, right? That's what gets me. She wasn't even suggested to be in the call. I get, like, you got teams to worry about and stuff like that. You get the first 4 teams to even boil through, and that's like, what? It's like 20 characters on the offset, more or less. Like, you get characters like goddamn, like Homer, Yomi, Hikage, Mirai, Haruka, just for like the goddamn Crimson Squad alone. Then you got Ikaruga, Katsuragi, Yagyu, Hibari, and Daidoji. Alright, not bad. Not Daidoji, because she wasn't even suggested. Asuka, my bad. So that's another 5 characters. And, like, that's like 10 already. And then you still got, like, the ones that are freaking from, like, the other teams. Like, you got Yumi's already in the game. You got Murakumo, Yozakura, Shiki, Minori. You got freaking Miyabi, Murasaki, Imu, Ryobi, Riona, like, stuff like that. Like, it's just, like, you get too many characters to think about. And, like, I know, like, it just sucks they weren't even suggested, though. Like, Daidoji and Rin weren't even, like, suggested. That bums the shit out of me, because they're, like, 2 of my favorite characters in the game, man. Now, this is something I just did not want to even talk about, but at the same time, I had to stuff an honorable mention in here, and I just had to talk about Hibari. Hibari is one of my favorite characters in the games. Like, she was like the first character I actually latched onto, and I thought about, man, why can I not add her in Cross Tag? Because I made this video a top 5, and I had to pick at least 5 characters I would have wanted to see in Cross Tag. And Hibari, I just could not fit anywhere in the list because I really wanted to, but it's also a character I wanted to put in number 1. So I just left Hibari out until honorable mentions, and that bums the shit out of me because honestly, she's just like this bundle of sunshine, and it makes me so sad that I can't just stuff her in the Cross Tag. I thought about the other characters, like, okay, what if I stuffed, like, Rinka in? But I didn't like Rinka all that much. What about the other characters? You know, stuff like that. Like, there's some characters, I think, in the callouts, and I thought about it. It's like, there's some characters I would like, but some characters I wouldn't. But I'm glad they say Hibari, because actually, I really do like Hibari, man. She's just this bundle of sunshine with a really precious voice. And, like, I've heard her voice. Like, her voice was, like, the first thing that latched me onto, other than, like, her design, obviously. And she's just adorable, man. Like, seriously, she can turn giant and just literally just freaking fall in your ass. She has a freaking pet rabbit as a ninja. Like, I mean, sorry, I said pet rabbit as a ninja. She has a ninja pet rabbit. I mean, and look at her. Like, what the frick? Like, it's so unfair. Really, it's so unfair. Like, if I had the option to make this a top 6 list, Hibari would have been number 1. But there's another character I went above Hibari. Not for much bigger reasons than Hibari. It's just a character I just actually wanted to see above Hibari, and I have a less of a reason to talk about them than Hibari herself, because honestly, I wanted Hibari in just because she could have some really just, like, I can imagine her having an interaction with Heart Aino, and I'm losing my mind because that's a really good idea, and I know it would not happen, and I'm gonna start crying right now, man. Like, because I feel like if they were going to do orders by teams, like if Hibari was ever suggested, I feel like she would never come in soon, right? Because not only got like their teams, like, oh shit, you got Asuka to deal with, you got to bring in Rinka, you got to bring in Homura, you got to bring in Miyabi, because you probably would want to bring in the team leaders before the actual, like, team members. So I feel like it will go in that order. Like, hey, we got Yumi, then we'll go Asuka, then we'll go Renka, then Miyabi, then Homura, and then, like, you can all get those out of the way. And then you got the team members themselves. But because Yumi is first and Yumi's the front and center one, I feel as though they would choose the Gessen team to start off. And that's what bums me out, because I care so little about Gessen. But knowing that they'll be the characters that would theoretically come in after all the team leaders are in, doesn't sit right with me. That means if they would go in order, that means they would have to put in all the ones from Gessen and then the ones from Hanzo. And that means that would take Hibari forever to show up, and that would bum the absolute shit out of me. And the final choice for this video is Kagura herself. Honestly, I just wanted to make a joke of having, like, Kagura from BlazBlue in and having Senran's Kagura's Kagura in here, so they can make a funny interaction. Honestly, that's not a good reason, but, I mean, hell, again, I'm only putting some of these characters in because they look so damn cool. And Kagura, she looks damn cool. I mean, the series is named after her. I mean, I kind of have to put her here. Plus, I'm trying to think of good ideas for interactions for her. It won't be in this video. It'll probably be another video I'll make later. I have an idea for an interaction, her coming in as like little Kagura, and then she'll transform into true Kagura when she fights. I don't know, I just find that idea of like her having an interaction with someone like Ruby, right? Like Ruby will be like, oh my god, you're adorable and shit like that, but then she'll shift from being the little girl Kagura to adult Kagura. And I don't know, I see like Ruby like, you know, leaning back and like throwing her hands like or something like that. That'd be funny. I don't know. I just have that idea. It's just something funny. I want to get some more funny moments out of Kagura. Like I'm trying to keep her away from the villain stuff because Kagura is not evil. Like she's not evil. She's not like, you know, she's not the best person to be around because as she gets older, she's not really she starts getting less and less nice as the older she gets. But it's I don't know. I'm trying to think of like decent interactions that doesn't involve just Kid Kagura, because Kid Kagura would be funny, you know, seeing like everyone sees this little kid, it's like, oh, she's cute, whatever, but then she'll transform to like this super epic adult looking, like she looks sick, dude. Can I just say that? Like I already said that like so many times before, but god damn it, dude, True Kagura looks so badass. I like him for the designs. I mean, I like him for the character too, but I like him for the designs as well. I mean, it bums me out that even Kagura isn't here. Yeah, Kaizou from the future here. Yes, Kagura's name was called out in the BBTAG voice files. I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't saying this wrong, and yeah, her name is in there. Sorry to interrupt you. I mean, I wonder how they're going to work Kagura, because I haven't played much of Kagura's actual gameplay. When I did play, I liked it, but I don't know. It's just something. I'm trying to find really funny ideas to work with, but all I can get is to work with Kid Kagura, and everybody will be shocked that she grows up or something like that. Or she'll come in as True Kagura, and then she can have some badass Kree with maybe a villain. Like she won't be a straight up villain. Also, I had an idea of her having an interaction with Ragna, but I had no idea how to, you know, work it out. Like, you know, she'll talk about like, oh, I'm True Kagura. I'm like, you know, like this mighty being or something, and then freaking Ragna's like, well, I'm the Grim Reaper, and like they can stand back to back and have a cool interaction. I don't know. I kind of get an idea of like True Kagura and Ragna having at least having an interaction with each other. I don't know what it could be, but it could be like some back-to-back badass Creed, because Ragna gets so little of those, other than like Naruto, but they're not really back-to-back until like you beat your opponent in the round. So yeah, let's just start shipping Naraku and Ragna. I mean, not Ragna, my bad, Kagura. Let's just start shipping Kagura and Ragna, not Kagura Mutsuki. Get that out of your heads, people. Don't Senran Kagura dreams because of dumb shit like that. Because you heard something wrong. So sorry about my thoughts being not so coherent in this video, because honestly, Senran Kagura's characters aren't really consistent. So making cool ideas for interactions or telling you why I would want this character in comes down to really simple reasons other than the ones I had in my previous videos. Like, yeah, I said, oh, well, I wanted Hibari in because she's adorable as hell, but I couldn't put her in the list. Oh, I wanted Kagura in because she looked sick. Oh, I wanted Daidoji because she looked awesome. Oh, I wanted Ren in because... Oh, I wanted Asuka in because it made total sense she would be in this game. Like, it's just reasons like that. I didn't want this video to be like that, but it ended up that way anyway, and that kind of bums the shit out of me because there could have been much more. But considering there's some characters I just can't really talk about, and because they're either limited characterization or, you know, not really consistent characterization, or not having enough good ideas to mesh with, because trying to connect some of these characters with characters already in the BBTAG roster is really hard, especially when some of them just don't match up. So like, I would have to use the basis of me making this giant dream roster of all the other characters that I brought in from my previous videos into this one pile here. And for one, that would work. Because, as I mentioned before, characters like Asuka, who aren't even in the game, would have a good interaction with characters like Ren, who isn't in the game. Like, characters who aren't in the game would have interactions with characters who aren't in the game. And I can't, it's sometimes hard to try to tie something back to those who are already in BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle. Some people can, I just can't, because I feel like it'd be easier if I had just a lot more people to work with, and I just don't have that. So that's why my interaction, you know, my whole tying back the character interactions, like, oh, who would interact with who, is not very good. You know, some characters who are obvious choices who to interact don't get that in Cross Tag. For example, like Jen and Hakumen, Ragnar and Hazama, stuff like that. There's some options that Cross-Tag just doesn't choose. And that's what makes it hard for me, is because of like, yeah, I would choose these characters because it's obvious, but there's some characters that I can't figure out who could interact with who to save my life. And they would have to either bring more characters in or just not have an interaction at all. And I don't want another Cross-Tag 1.5 thing where like you get characters who just don't have interactions, like Naoto, Saf, Teddy, and Hart. I don't want that situation again, because they had to update with 2.0 to even give them interactions. So sorry, this last segment was way too long. I just wanted to explain that before I finish the video. But yeah, on to the Akatsuki Blitzconf characters, and this is going to be interesting because I didn't play Akatsuki Blitzconf in like so long, and it's going to be weird revisiting the game.